Hi Verbling, my name's Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and today we're talking about conference call vocabulary. If you guys are interested in private lessons, I have some open time this week and next week. You guys can look at my schedule and book a session or message me and talk a little more about it. I can let you know how things run and what hours I can do. So if you don't see an hour you like, let me know. I speak some Italian and some Portuguese, so if you speak those languages, I can help you more efficiently. If you don't speak those languages, I can still help you. I know, commercial. Okay, I'm going to screen share the document we're looking at today. You can also find that document on the class page, so if you're joining before you enter or after you enter, whenever, click the blue link below the video screen. I will also share our conference call vocabulary. So today we're going to do a little bit of dialogue and hypothetical situations, and we're going to talk about some excellent vocabulary that you might hear if you have to be on a conference call. Philip, welcome to class.
Thank you, teacher Michaela.
Good to have you back. You're doing quite a bit of English. How many hours did you do today so far?
Oh, too much, teacher. Too much. I'm just attending any class I can.
Excellent. There's never too much.
I'm going from class to class.
Awesome. Getting a diverse experience then, a little bit of everything.
I would like to be friendly with 6 months like that.
Awesome. Well, then you're headed in the right direction.
Yes, thank you.
Cool. Mateos, welcome back. How many hours have you done today of verbling?
It's 4 hours.
Wow, awesome. Well done.
I'm addicted.
Not a bad thing to be addicted to. You could be addicted to much worse things.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. actually in Poland.
Wow. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I'll know if you stop responding. You just fell asleep.
Okay.
All right. Carlos, welcome to class. Carlos, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. Welcome to class, Carlos. I think this is my first time meeting you, right?
Yes, all right.
Where are you from?
I'm from Brazil.
Awesome. What part of Brazil?
Resende, Rio de Janeiro.
Cool.
I saw in your profile that you live in Brazil.
Yeah, I lived in Brazil in Minas for 2 years.
Nice. I lived in Minas until last November. I lived there for 5 years.
Wow, what were you there for? School?
Yes.
So you were in Belo Horizonte?
No school. For working. In Sete Lagoas.
Oh, cool. That must have been nice. Did you like it?
Yes, I like it.
Very cool. Well, it's great to have you here, Carlos.
Thank you.
Okay, Ana Cristina, welcome to class.
Hello, teacher. Thank you.
Good to have you with us, Ana. Oh, Ana Cristina. And Ana Carolina, welcome as well. You've done quite a few hours today. How many hours of English?
Teacher,
yeah.
I've been overdosing in English while I can, because I took some sick days. I hurt my back at the gym, and I'm not hitting the gym. I'm doing nothing. So I've been boosting my English while I can.
Awesome,
because
taking advantage.
Yes, I am busy, and next month I won't be available for so long, you know.
Where are you going to be?
Doing my stuff.
Working more?
Working, studying, working out, you know. I will be available to take one class daily.
All
Maybe
right, so you're really
two.
focused right now.
Yes, maybe two, no more than. But while I am having sick sick days,
Mhm.
I why not?
Awesome. I agree. Why not? Okay, and Ramon, welcome to class.
Hello, Michael. How are you?
Good. It's nice to meet you. I think this is my first time with you, right?
Yes, yes. Yes, it's my first time with you.
Where are you from, Ramon?
I'm from Brazil. I'm from Minas Gerais in Brazil.
Oh, how cool. You're not the only Brazilian in class today. You have company. What city are you living in Minas?
Yeah. I live close to Belo.
Cool. Very nice city. One of my favorites in Brazil. I love Belo Horizonte. I was living in a smaller place called Chimoteo, but Belo Horizonte is also a beautiful place. Really cool city.
You were working
Oh,
there, teacher?
yeah, I was working as a teacher there.
Yeah, okay.
And unfortunately, Ramon left or got kicked out. But maybe he'll be back. Sean, welcome to class.
Thank you.
And Sean, I think it's my first time with you as well. Where are
Yeah,
you from?
this is my first time. Originally, I'm from India, but recently I came in US. Just
Awesome.
1
What
month ago. It's near to Philadelphia.
Very cool. So right now you must be having some fun. The summers should be beautiful, right?
Yes, summer is beautiful, but the project I have joined, some escalations is going on, so it's pretty tough time I'm going through.
Uh-oh, you're not getting to enjoy that summer
Yeah,
weather?
no, not that much. Hopefully, next 1 month or 2 months, it will be much easier for me.
All right. Well, we're glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's get started. We're going to talk a little bit about some business vocabulary you might hear on a conference call. And then we'll do a little fill in the blank to make sure you guys get the idea. So let's read some of the vocabulary. These are the vocabulary words plus their definitions. And the first four I'm going to ask Ana Carolina to read.
Okay, thank you. Some business vocabulary. Q&A section. Questions and answers. Colleague. Peer at work. Quarterly report. Quarterly report. Information from 3 months of business. Revenue. Money after the cost is subtracted. Forecast. Prediction.
Awesome. And Ana Cristina, will you read the next four?
Agenda, schedule, innovative, creating new things from old themes, hold on, wait, hang up, finish a call.
Awesome. And Carlos, the last four.
Wrap up, finish, turn over, change roles, log in, enter an account, roll out, show a new product.
Thank you very much. So some of that vocabulary is simple and you're probably familiar with some of it. Do you guys have any other questions? Anything that you haven't seen before and you're not really sure you know how to use after reading those definitions? Okay, so you guys are masters already. That's great. That's awesome. Ooh, shoot. Well, we're going to do some fill in the blanks, but the blanks have actually disappeared. So I'm going to have to find where they are. We've come up with some innovative ways to increase. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, so they're already, I just realized that these sentences are already, they don't have blanks. I had this set up a different way, and I think I accidentally saved the wrong version. So what we're going to do instead is make our own sentences. We're going to change this a little bit. So we have 12 vocabulary phrases here. We also have some example sentences below, so since we're not going to use these, we may as well read them as example sentences to give you guys a slightly better idea of how to use these words. Let's have Mateos read number 1 and number 2.
Just read.
Yeah, just read.
Okay. We've come up with some innovative ways to increase revenue. I think we've finished everything on the agenda for today, so let's wrap this up quickly.
Thank you very much. Philip, will you read number 3 and number 4?
Okay, number 3 and number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I will turn the conversation over to my colleague.
Mm-hmm.
We will be rolling out the new models in December.
Thank you very much. Ramon, will you do number 5 and number 6?
Okay, now that the report is over, it's time for the Q&A section. Based on the quarterly report, the forecast for the new year looks great.
Thank you very much. And that's the Q&A section. Q. Thanks, Ramon. Sean, will you read number 7 and number 8?
Sure. Could you hold on a minute while I log into Skype? Let's memorize before we hang up the phone.
Summarize. Yep. Thanks. Okay. So let's make our own sentences with these. I'm going to give you guys each 2 words and ask you to combine them in some kind of sentence. So Sean, I'm going to ask you to do Q&A section and colleague. Ramon, okay. Quarterly report and revenue. Philip, forecast and agenda. Mateos, innovative and hold on. Carlos, hang up and wrap up. Ana Cristina, wrap up and agenda. And Ana Carolina, turn over and whatever is under turnover. Turnover and roll out, the very last one. Turn over and roll out.
You have to write them down on the chat box.
So I want you guys to take those words and make a sentence with them. Are you saying you forgot what words you had?
In the chat box?
Yeah, in the chat box.
Okay.
So you can choose the Verbling or the Google chat box. It does not matter to me.
Okay.
Give you guys a couple minutes to get that done.
Teacher, could you show the sentence?
Yeah, sure. You're right. Maybe that would be better so you guys can see them in use. How's that?
I'm sorry, Michaela.
Yeah?
I don't fully understand turnover. It means to change the subject.
Usually turn over means you're giving the authority to somebody else. So in that case, let's see. Sentence number 3, where it says, I'll turn the conversation over to my colleague. It means that you were talking and now you're going to allow your colleague or your peer to talk instead of you. You can also turn over a piece of property, like I'll turn over the stolen merchandise to the police or something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Please scroll to the question.
Sorry, what? You had a question?
Yes, scroll to the question you asked us. Scroll down, please. Scroll down the.
Well, there's nothing below this that we've looked at. So, you mean scroll up here?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So, teacher, I have to just make a sentence with Q and A section and with colleague.
Yep, that's right.
So my sentence would be, now the presentation has over and all our colleagues are here. Let's have a Q&A section.
Okay, it sounds good. Will you write it in the chat box for me so I can make sure everything's correct?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, I see a couple others already in the chat box. I'm going to read those. Our product is so innovative, we can't hold on with rolling it out. Ooh, you've got 3 in there. Can't hold on. I would add a little bit more, like maybe make that 2 sentences so that it's not, we've got a preposition connecting those 2 phrasal verbs, and that's a little awkward. So I would say maybe something like, our product is so innovative, we can't hold on. We must roll it out.
Okay.
Thanks, Mateus. That was awesome. Okay, Ramon, we are assessed quarterly at that school. If we don't beef up our sales, we won't have enough revenue for the next year. Awesome, awesome sentence. So the school is assessed quarterly? Is it a for-profit school?
Yes. I tried to say the students are assessed quarterly.
Ah, okay.
Quarterly.
So those are separate sentences. Got it. Yeah, the students. Okay, that makes more sense. We are assessed quarterly. Okay. Thank you very much, Ramon. Next up is from Carlos. Please hold on a minute while I search for the presentation. Awesome. I see 1 vocabulary word used, and it looks like you got the other one in the next sentence. I think all points are closed, so we can hang up. Yes, but instead of closed, I would say finished or completed.
Okay.
Thanks, Carlos.
Thank you. Finish.
After
Finish
my
or completed?
Yeah, so all the points are finished, or what's a better way to phrase that? We can say all our topics are covered. I think that's kind of a good way to say it. All
cool.
the topics have been covered. That's a good time to use present perfect.
Okay, thank you.
All the topics have been covered. Awesome. After my presentation about the new product and our campaign to roll it out, I'll turn the floor over for further questions that you may have. The extra word be on the end is not necessary. The rest is good. And I've got 1 more in this chat box before I move over to the other one. Now, the present is over and all our colleagues are here. Can we have a Q&A section?
Sorry, it would be the presentation.
Yeah, there you go. Now the presentation is over and all our colleagues are here. Period. Capital. Can we have a Q&A section? So put an article because that's a noun.
Sure.
Thanks. Awesome. Okay. And a couple from the Verbling chat box. The forecast for today's weather is 23 degrees. Awesome. And the next one, I have scheduled an appointment with the job interviewer on Thursday. Awesome. Yeah, that's a good one. Thanks, Philip. And the last one I see now, oh, I see. That's the same one that I read in the other one. Okay, 1 more in the Google chat box before we move on. I would like to wrap it up for you because it is dangerous for our company. Ooh, that's an interesting sentence. So we need the preposition up for sure because it's a phrasal verb. I would like to wrap it up for you because it is dangerous. We need to start with another subject. It is dangerous for our company. What did you have in mind when you wrote that, Ana Cristina? What's so dangerous for the company?
Maybe whatever projects or maybe deep in the company I can imagine it's an important company and they have a new presentation that the employees said to the boss that would like that it's for the team because he think that it's going dangerous for our company or for our just for the future for the company's future.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. All right. So now that we're done with some of those vocabulary words, I want to hear what vocabulary words you guys use sometimes. So I'm going to ask you to describe your job responsibilities. Describe your job responsibilities and give me 2 vocabulary words that you think other students might not already know. So everyone's going to give me 2 vocabulary words and try to make them interesting, dynamic words that are useful but maybe difficult, something you learned recently perhaps. Before we do that, I have one more sentence in the chat box. The revenue forecast is not good. We have to come up with innovative ideas to save the company from going bankrupt. Yes, change that go to going. Other than that, it looks great. Okay, so let's start with Sean. Sean, will you tell me what your job responsibilities are and give us 2 extra vocabulary words that you think other students might benefit from?
Sure. My job responsibility is I'm a developer, and we got a few requests about having some sort of problem, and we address those issues, and we come up with some sort of solutions. And if the solution is not easy available, we somehow just figure out how to address in the next level so that L3 support team can address those things.
All right. Sounds stressful.
Yeah, a little bit of stress.
So what kind of vocabulary words could you give other students who are learning English?
Come up with the solution, come up.
Come up with, that's a great one.
And sometimes we don't know about the solution, then we try to figure out how to solve the problem.
Excellent. Phrasal verbs. Very nice. Thank you. Ramon, can you tell us a little bit about your job?
Yes, I'm a business analyst, and in my job, I have many meetings with customers, and sometimes with some companies that are not customers yet. And beside that, I work at the state company as a web developer. So when they need me to do something related to their website, I need to work on it. I have to work on it.
Awesome. So you're really busy.
Yeah, normally.
And what are 2 vocabulary words that you think you use frequently regarding your job and that other students might need to learn and know?
Maybe work on is a phrasal verb.
Work on,
and customer.
That's definitely a staple of business vocabulary. There's lots of customers when we're talking about business. Thanks, Ramon.
You're welcome.
All right, Philip, tell us about your job.
Yes, it's my previous job.
Go ahead.
Yes, I landed the job thanks to my uncle
Awesome.
who who applied for me. So I was the chief accountant, and then
So you're a numbers guy.
yeah, the word I can teach to my classmate is land a job.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's a wonderful vocabulary word. Land a job. What else? What's another one?
I'm still looking at.
Okay. Okay. You can keep thinking. I'll come back to you, Philip, but keep thinking because I will come back to you. Don't pretend. Mateos, tell us about your job.
I am release manager in software company, and
So
the work.
you said you started a company?
No, release manager is a person who decide when the soft is ready to make it publish, to put it to production environment.
Ooh, so you're like the decider. You get to say when things are ready and when they're not.
Yeah, I assigning tasks to other programmers, and when they finish job, I merging it together and doing a production version of program application.
Awesome. Wow. So what are your vocab words you can add to our list?
Release manager and delegate.
So you said a release manager, right?
Yes, release, like a
Delegate. I like the word delegate. That's a great one. So the release manager would be the person who shows things for the first time, like you said, the person who decides when the product is ready, right?
Not exactly. Decide which fragments will be published in a version of the program. We should it publish, or we should wait when it be better to the next release.
Got it. Awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Mateos. Carlos, tell us about your job.
I'm a product designer at Volkswagen Truck and Bus.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah, my responsibilities is manage the car design team and delegate activities to the designers. And responsible for 3D modeling of body and white components, interior and exterior components. And normally I work together the designers and modeling 3D models based in sketch by hand. And I need to update and improve the models that exist and the new models based on engineering input and requirements. And I am working there for 8 months.
Oh, so you're still kind of a newbie there, huh?
Yeah, in the Volkswagen, yes.
Very cool, though. So what are your vocab words you can add to our list?
The vocab.
Yep.
CAD design, CAD design.
Oh, CAD design, like the program, right?
Yes, it's a kind of programs, computer-aided design. And delegate.
Delegate, like the verb?
Delegate. Yes, to
Okay.
delegate.
Very cool. Yeah, just making sure, because we have a noun version as well that's totally different. But thank you, Carlos. Those are excellent words.
Okay.
Ana Cristina, tell us what you do.
I am a teacher. I teach literature teacher here in my country. And my responsibility are teaching Spanish in the high school, helping the student to improve the Spanish skills as reading, speaking, listening, and writing. It's a beautiful job. That is all.
Awesome. So it's wonderful to meet a fellow teacher. Tell us a couple vocabulary words that you use or can use to describe your job you think other students might need to know.
Maybe a schedule, hold on, wrap up, force cut,
What was the last one?
forecast, prediction,
A tradition?
predictions,
Prediction.
forecast,
Forecast.
forecast. Yes.
Awesome. Okay, thank you very much, Ana Cristina. All right, last up, Ana Carolina. And Ana Carolina, I'm sure you have a lot of vocabulary words for us. So tell us what you do and give us a couple words.
I am a dentist and I work for the government in as a my gosh, as a dental in the dental public health. I I specialized in oral health family and some words diagnosing, promoting, creating, interpreting. I have to diagnose oral diseases, promoting oral health, creating treatments, plans, interpreting X-rays.
Interpreting?
Yes, thank you for helping me with my pronunciation. Interpreting. Ensuring the safe administration of anesthetics and drugs and things like that. Monitoring growth and development of the teeth. Performing surgical procedures. Drill the tooth decay and filling the cavities, and preventing controlling dental disease.
Awesome. You got a lot to do.
Organizing community efforts, because I work with an equipe made of a doctor, a nurse, a dental assistant, and people who are working with us as a community liaisons.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Great words. Okay, and last but not least, now we have one more last one. Julian, welcome to class. Tell us about what you do.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
What I do in my life, like professional,
to
life,
professionally.
for living?
What's your
Okay, I'm a instructor, like a teacher in Technical Institute here in Colombia. It's a public company or public institution and learning.
What do you teach?
I teach environment control and water sanitation.
Very cool.
Yeah, that is I do for a living.
What are some of your responsibilities?
My responsibility is talk to the classmates or no classmates for the students about the topics that in the program. Go to class and make tools. It's a guide. It's a document. It's when we can find different aspects to search and exercise to practice the knowledge and different knowledge about the that we see in the class. No more. Really, I have. I am now. I start a research project in water treatment. Here
water
about
treatment.
Yes, thank you. Water treatment. It's a system for the communities with poverty that are poverty that stay in poverty here in Colombia, and they have the access to the water drinking.
Awesome. So we've all been naming 2 vocabulary words that have to do with your job. that you think other students might need to know. Can you think of 2 vocabulary words surrounding your job that other people might want to know? People learning English?
Maybe.
Do you need a second to think?
Yes, fluctuation.
Fluctuation?
Fluctuation, yes. And UV sanitation.
Sanitation, okay.
Yeah, by
I
UV.
like the word fluctuation. Would you like to define that for us?
Yes, okay. The fluctuation is you have a water, have a particle suspended in the water, and you add a chemical, and this chemical react with the particles that are suspended in the water, and maybe you stir the water for a few minutes, and then you let quiet, and this chemical form particles more bigger than the other that the fruits particles, and this go down or fall down in the water, and the water makes more clear.
All right, cool.
This is the
so
first.
That's the process of fluctuation for you, right?
Yes.
And it also has kind of a more general meaning, which is just like on and off, right? So there are a couple other ways we can use that word too. Like I might say, today was hot and yesterday was cold. The temperature is fluctuating. I'm just giving that as an example for people who might need kind of a more general use for the word. Thank you for giving us all that, Julian. You gave us a lot.
Okay.
Awesome. And Philip, you still owe me one word. What's your other word?
Okay, teacher. After landing the job, I took office and I noticed my predecessor did a shoddy job, a shoddy work.
Okay, so the word is took office or take office?
Yeah, take office and shoddy work.
And show the work?
Shoddy.
Ooh, I'm in trouble with that.
SHODDY.
Shady?
SHO.
Oh, shoddy. Oh, got it. Okay. So shoddy work. That is a really good vocabulary word. And we're going to talk about that one for a second. So shoddy is when something is not very good. If someone does a shoddy job, it means they didn't do it well. They didn't do it well enough. Like you can see that it's half done or like really a poor job. I really like that word. Okay. And take office is a really interesting one, though I'm not sure it will be totally appropriate because usually the phrase take office means to be an elected official. So we would say take office for the president or the governor or the senator or someone who gets elected, but we probably won't say take office for a person who got hired, like in a general, in a company, in a general place.
Yes, teacher.
But it is a really good vocabulary word. And I'm going to add those to our list.
What do they say instead of took office?
You might, if you were just talking, if you wanted to still use a phrasal verb and you were talking about that, you could say, I took over his office. So he moved out, I moved in. I took over his office.
Okay.
So just a little bit different. Pretty similar, though.
Thank you, teacher.
Sure thing. And Ana Carolina had a question in the chat box. Ana Carolina, I understood you perfectly. You did very well. Okay. So let's go on in this document. I sent all those wonderful vocabulary words in the chat box for you guys if you want to look them up and use them later. If we have time at the end of class, we might use them as well. But look at them as we're going through this, and maybe we can work them into some of our conversation. So right now we're going to go over a little bit more vocabulary and talk a little bit about formal and polite speech, because that's something that's very important in the business world. Things are very formal. So let's read some of this vocabulary. The beginning is pretty general. Sean, will you read that section on a call? Sean, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Are you all on? Checking if anyone has joined the conversation. Did everybody get the agenda? I will keep this short. I'm afraid I didn't get that. Your name speaking.
Right. So those are just some general phrases, and for the last one, it's important to identify who you are. And actually, I think that's kind of funny because a lot of times here we have similar problems, even though this isn't actually a conference call. Sometimes if I'm looking at the document and I don't have the Hangouts page right in front of me, someone will say something and I'm not actually totally sure who it is. If I have 9 different people in class, I'll be like, ooh, was that the voice of Jose or was that the voice of Arnaldo? And I'm not actually sure. So in order to avoid that on a conference call, you can say, Arnaldo speaking, and then complete it with whatever you need to say. But I think some of those phrases are good and useful for verbling as well as conference calls. Okay, let's go on, talk about some of these modal words. I'm going to highlight a short section here and ask Ramon to read it for us.
Okay. Could you speak more slowly, please? Can I add something quickly? May I just point out that I wonder if you could.
Thank you very much. And Philip,
You're welcome.
will you read the next few? I'm going to scroll down just
Yes.
1 second. Here we go. Read the rest of them for us.
Yes. Would you mind if I would be grateful if you could. I wonder if it might be possible to. Could you possibly? Do you think you could? Would you be willing to?
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So now let's talk about what makes these phrases formal. Up here, we had a little section that nobody read. It said, use the modal verb could, can, may, might, would. This makes your speech sound more formal. But I have another secret for you guys. The longer something is, the more formal it sounds. So if you add in adjectives and adverbs and modal verbs and just make it really long, it sounds more formal. And I know that's crazy, but if you look at some of these examples, you can see that instead of saying, what? You can say, oh, I'm afraid I didn't get that. So the really casual form, like the one we use in class, you'd say, what? As in, I didn't understand you. But if you're on a conference call and being really formal, you'd say, I'm afraid I didn't get that. So the longer you make these phrases, the more formal they sound. And modal verbs are a great way to do that. So instead of saying, speak more slowly, you'd say, could you speak more slowly, please? Okay. Any questions on that? Pretty simple stuff. Okay. So, thinking about all of that and looking at all of those vocabulary words plus the vocabulary words we came up with earlier and all the ones we've talked about today, we're going to talk about what we would do in these situations. We've got 5 situations here, and I'm going to ask a couple people to give suggested phrases for what we would do. Number 1, if you're on a conference call with a bunch of people and you need to get a contribution from someone who hasn't spoken, at least for a while, or at all, what would you say? So you need to politely ask someone to give their opinion. How about Mateos? How could you politely ask someone to give their opinion using some of the vocabulary we talked about today? And if you want, I can scroll up so you can see the vocabulary. Maybe that would be helpful.
Okay. Mateusz, could you Say something because we can hear you.
Awesome. Wait, was that Mateos?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Just making sure. Yeah, could you say something because we can't hear you? That works. And Julian, give us one more. If you need to ask someone for their opinion because they've been mysteriously quiet, what's a very formal way to do that?
Maybe I will use. I wonder if you could tell me about the.
Yeah, totally. I wonder if you could give us your opinion on that, or
Give me
however
your
you want to
opinion
finish.
about
Yeah, totally. Excellent use of our vocabulary. All right, number 2. Now we need to tell somebody that they need to adjust their equipment. So there's something wrong, you can't hear them, or you can't hear them well, and you need to tell them there's a problem. Carlos, how can you very politely tell them that they have a problem, that they need to fix?
Sorry, teacher. They have a problem and I need to say to him
Exactly. So there's some kind of problem with their equipment, and you need to formally tell them that they need to get their stuff together. Say, hey, you got an issue, go solve it. But you got to do it really formally. How would you do that?
Hey, Roberto. Could you do the presentation again? I think I have little problems.
Okay.
I don't know, teacher.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good way. Let's see if Ana Cristina also has an idea about how we can do that. Inform someone they have a problem, tell them to fix it. How can we do that formally?
Maybe I'd be grateful if you could help me with this problem because it's important you help me. I wonder if you could help me now, please.
I love that one. That one's great because you're like, you know, what you're saying is so important that I really need to hear it. I'd be grateful if you could fix your stuff. I love that one, Anna. Thanks.
Sure, teacher.
Ana Carolina, you're going to do the next one. If you need to interrupt somebody, so somebody is talking and talking and talking, and you have to interrupt them for some reason, how could you do it the most polite way possible?
I'm afraid I hate to interrupt you, but may I ask a question?
Excellent. Yes. I'm afraid I might have to interrupt you. Perfect. Thanks. Sean, can you give us another way to do the same thing? If you're trying to interrupt someone, but in a formal and as polite as possible?
Sorry for the interruption, but I could not hear you properly. Would you mind to speak a bit loudly?
Awesome. Used quite a few vocabulary words. Thanks, John. All right. What if you need to disagree with someone? So you need to strongly disagree, but you need to do it in a very polite way, or as polite as possible. How about Ramon? How would you do it?
Let me think here. I'm sorry. I just want to say I don't agree with that.
Okay, that's one way. I think that's good, although maybe apologizing for your opinion, I don't know. Some people would not want to do that, but if you want to, you can. All right, so that's one way to go. How about Philip? Give us another way we could go. If you need to strongly disagree, but do it politely, what could you say?
Yes, I would say, sorry, I see a point, but I disagree with that.
Okay, so both of you apologized. Does anyone have an idea of how we could do it without apologizing for our opinion?
It's a great idea. Go ahead, please.
No, you can go first.
Sean, give us your opinion, and then I'll go to Ana Carolina.
Sure. It's a great idea, but there is another way to do it.
Okay, so acknowledging their opinion and then giving your own, that's good. Ana Carolina, how about you? What do you think?
I understand from where you come from. However, I beg to differ.
Good, that's a good one. I beg to differ. Okay, that's very formal, pretty polite. Excellent suggestions, guys. And the last one we have, you need to suggest a change in topic. So you want to talk about something else and no one's talking about it. How can you politely suggest that we change topics? Mateos, what do you think?
We have a lot to say on that topic, but we have an agenda, and we could go to another topic.
Okay, went all the way back to our original vocabulary for agenda. So reminding everyone that they have other things to talk about. That's a good thing. All right, thanks, Mateos. And Julian, same one. If you need to change the topic, how can you ask people to talk about something else without sounding rude?
Yeah, that's your point is interesting. But do you think you could change? You think take an account my point of view about that, because I think that that suggests a better way to do it.
All right. Excellent. Very wordy, meaning very formal. You used a lot of words. That always means it's more formal. Thanks, Julian.
Okay.
Okay, so now let's talk about when we need to be formal and when we need to be informal. I'm going to suggest a few and see if you guys think that they're formal occasions or informal occasions. Who thinks that a verbal class is a formal occasion? Does anyone think it? Does anyone think it's a very casual occasion?
I think I do.
You think it's casual, Ramon?
Yes,
that was
I
Ramon,
personally think
right?
it's casual. Because...
Go ahead. So tell us why you think it's casual.
Yeah, because we normally discuss too many different topics on the same class, and I guess personally, I guess it's interesting because if it were formal, just following the same steps every time, it would be so boring.
I kind of agree. I think the casual aspect makes it a little more friendly environment, a little interesting. I agree. Okay. What about if it were a real live classroom? How about, Carlos, if it were a real live classroom with a real teacher, do you think it would be more formal or less formal, or the same?
I think we can be less formal.
So in person is less formal than online?
In person, I think is less informal.
So
because you have the contact.
Mm-hmm. You said in person is less informal? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Less informal. So more formal in person.
No, more informal online.
More formal or more informal?
More formal online. More informal.
Online. Got it. Got it. Okay. So why do you say that?
Because I think when you are having a personal class with the teacher, you can. The approach is different. I don't know how to explain, but in the internet online classes, you have less contact, less
Okay.
the feelings. I don't know.
All right. Mateos, do you agree or disagree with him that online is more formal than in person?
I disagree. Online is more informal than in person, but it depends on the teacher.
I guess that's true. Are there any Verbling teachers you guys find to be very formal? You don't have to give names, just.
A little more maybe, but not very formal.
Okay. All right. Julian, what do you think? Do you think it's more formal in person or online?
Not really. I agree with Carolina. It depends the people at the other side, because in person maybe you can make a joke and you can change the formal to informal conversation, and virtual and internet and online conversation happen we you do the same happen that you change to the informal, and that really depends the talker with you are talking with your talk. Sorry.
All right. How about Ana Carolina? Can you comment on what Julian said and what all the other students were saying?
Well, teacher, it depends on the teacher, and in personal, it's better because they can see your facial expression, and then and you know sometimes the intonation in English is a bit different, and if they can see your face, you can avoid some misunderstandings, because
Yeah, that's
sometimes
true.
in English you can say sound impolite or something like that, and if you are face to face and you want to say something, you raise your hand, the teacher can see your face, he can see that you are trying to say something and call on you. You don't have to to type and stuff like that. And in in an online class, it's a bit difficult. They cannot see you, and sometimes you don't know a word. You know the meaning, but you don't know whether if it is okay to say or no, and you can say something off the cuff, and you can sound it differently.
Yeah,
And
off the cuff, that's a good one.
some
Good
teachers
phrase.
are very nice, very lenient. They enjoy jokes. They allow us to type a lot. They don't care. And some teachers consider it disruptive. They don't like typing, and they are a bit more formal. It really depends on the teacher.
All right, that's true. Sean, what do you think? More formal in person or online?
I think online is more informal because I can give you the student's point of view. We can take a call from our living room, sitting comfortably. Nobody just going to check how you are just wearing. Instead of that, if we go to a classroom, we need some sort of preparation for that. We uh, need some sort of time investment there, and where we have to maintain some decoration, some rules while you are sitting in the classroom.
Yeah, that's true. So in some ways it is more formal like that. That's definitely true. Personally, I think that it's less formal the better you get to know someone. So I think with verbaling, sometimes it's more formal because if I know a student for the first time, then maybe it's a little stiff because I don't know that person yet. But once I've seen them many times, it gets a little less formal. But on the other hand, I think overall, I think I'm a pretty informal teacher on verbaling. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting question. It has been wonderful to talk to you guys. Do you guys have any last questions or comments before we finish up today? No?
No.
Thank you guys for joining me, and I hope to see you all again soon.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you.
See you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.